Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Thursday, August 14th, 2025. One person was killed, one person was severely injured, and one person was arrested on suspicion of DUI in a collision on Old Woman Springs Road. On Tuesday at around 2:30 p.m., the California Highway Patrol says that Lucy Barajas, a 41-year-old resident of Yucca Valley, was driving a Toyota southbound on Old Woman Springs Road south of La Brisa Drive. They said that a flatbed truck and a Chevrolet pickup truck with a trailer were stopped on the southbound shoulder, and the drivers of the trucks were standing on the shoulder near the trucks. The CHP says that Barajas was intoxicated and made an unsafe turn on the shoulder, hitting both men in both trucks. One of the truck drivers, identified as Dietrich Kelly, a 41-year-old resident of Yucca Valley, sustained fatal injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. The other truck driver, William Adams, 26, sustained major injuries and was taken to High Desert Medical Center, then airlifted to Desert Regional Medical Center. Lucy Barajas was arrested on suspicion of DUI causing bodily injury and vehicular manslaughter and is being held at the West Valley Detention Center on $250,000 bail. Deputies from the Morongo Basin Station assisted the United States Marshals Service with the arrest of a fugitive from New Mexico who was found living in 29 Palms. On Wednesday at 8:30 a.m., the San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies and U.S. Marshals located a fugitive identified as Caleb Engstrom, a 33-year-old resident of Lake Forest, California. Deputies say that Engstrom was wanted in New Mexico for a parole violation and was thought to be currently residing at a home in the 7,000 block of Desert Dunes Drive in 29 Palms. Deputies say they worked with a federal agency to locate Engstrom in the home, then surrounded the residence and arrested Engstrom without incident. Caleb Engstrom was arrested on an active warrant and booked into the Morongo Basin Jail. He is being held without bail. The California Fish and Game Commission continued their two-day meeting this morning, and during yesterday's session, the Western Joshua Tree Conservation Plan finally got the go-ahead, along with an update regarding the Yucca Valley sewer system. Online news editor Robert Hayden joins us with more.
The Western Joshua Tree Conservation Plan was formally accepted yesterday by the Fish and Game Commission. The first of its kind document has been in front of the Commission multiple times since February of this year, but it's been continued due to the amount of public comment and concern from residents who say they'll be primarily affected by the take permit fees that the legislative act requires. In each of the Commission meetings since February, California Department of Fish and Wildlife Director Chuck Bonham has set the table regarding the plan, urging the Commission to accept the document despite and because of its iterative nature. That trend continued at yesterday's meeting.
Since February, the department has also been listening, and we've been keeping track of some of the major concerns raised, and we've been trying in each of your successive meetings to update you on progress on those topics that appear to be pretty consistent.
Bonham then laid out some of the major changes to the plan since the last meeting in June, including actions in Yucca Valley regarding the sewer system that reflects some of the behind-the-scenes dealings between state and city entities.
The High Desert Water District had a groundbreaking celebration. Many had been concerned it was going to be permanently stalled, determining how that effort interfaced with Western Joshua Tree Conservation. No longer the case. Property owners will have to pay for their lateral connections, the sewer main to their house, but they won't be asked, as I understand it, and according to the media, to approve another assessment district to fund construction because the State Water Resources Control Board has approved $103 million in funding. So to get everybody hooked up, the individual homeowners aren't going to have to pay Western Joshua Tree study costs, fees, or encroachment responsibility. So we're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, which had fostered into some of the organized debate in front of you being very critical that this public safety, public water project was going to get frozen or force higher costs on citizens. It's not the case. We worked it out.
Bonham then moved on to adjustments to the relocation guidelines, namely if you're a single-family homeowner and your project impacts less than 10 acres of Joshua Tree habitat and requires the removal of less than 75 Joshua trees, you won't be on the hook for relocating any of those trees. You can find a longer version of this story along with links to the now accepted Western Joshua Tree Conservation Plan as it stands today at this story on our website. And stay tuned for stories later this week regarding the public comment and tribal engagement with the Commission regarding the plan. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
Southern California Edison has announced a planned public safety power shutoff affecting the Pioneer Town circuit, which includes areas within Yucca Valley, Pioneer Town, and Rimrock. An outage is planned for areas in Morongo Valley as well. That's most of Morongo Valley north of 29 Palms Highway. The planned outage in Yucca Valley is scheduled to begin at 3 p.m. on Thursday and is expected to last until 6 p.m. The outage in Morongo Valley is scheduled to begin at noon Thursday and is expected to last until 6 p.m. Neither of these outages are certain, but Southern California Edison is providing a warning so that residents can prepare for the potential shutoffs. SCE says that these shutoff events are precautionary power shutoffs during periods of extreme fire risk, such as high winds, dry conditions, and low humidity, as part of SCE's attempt to prevent wildfires. SCE will open a community resource center at the Yucca Valley Community Center. The resource center will be available today from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. The community center will provide residents with the option of an air-conditioned space to stay cool and charging for essential devices such as phones, laptops, and medical equipment. Visitors will also have access to water, snacks, and updated outage information. Ice vouchers will be available for those who need them. You can find a link to SCE's outage status center at this story at Z107.7fm.com. This weekend, Rediscover 29 presents the second annual Area 29 Galactic Gathering. It runs today through Sunday, and many locations in 29 Palms will be transformed into a galactic party. The fun starts today with an Area 29 Unidentified Floating Objects pool party at Lucky Park. That's from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. As beer and hard seltzer will be sold, this party is for those 21 and over. There will be DJs, a water slide, and pizza, as well as a psychedelic performance by theremin sensation Rocky Angel, who will manipulate electromagnetic fields to produce eerie, ethereal sounds. Pre-sale tickets are available at rediscover29.com. You can find the full lineup for this weekend's events by visiting our website, z1077fm.com, or staying tuned for further coverage this week. And finally, the Johnson Valley Shared Use Area is now closed to the public. The temporary closure is in support of critical Marine Corps training, which is vital for ensuring troop readiness and national security. The Shared Use Area will be closed through August 25th. During temporary closures of the shared use area, the adjacent Johnson Valley OHV recreation area remains open for public use. Recreationists are advised to be safe and observe boundaries of the shared use area and Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center. For more details, including a downloadable map showing the boundaries of the Combat Center and the shared use area, visit a link at this story at z1077fm.com. As reporter Gabriel Hart closes in on his 3-year anniversary serving the Morongo Basin, today he delivers his 500th news story for Z107.7. He joins us with a look back on the evolution of his assigned beats and other noteworthy stories he brought to our airwaves and website.
I joined the dynamic Z107.7 crew in August of 2022 when I was first assigned to the Morongo Valley Community Services District due to my residence there. I delivered my first story on August 18th, where former Morongo Valley Fire Chief James Brakebill honored 2 of his captains with award plaques, overseen by the MVCSD board. While it was a pleasant introduction to the inner workings of my town CSD, little did I know I'd soon be thrown into the fire to report on one of the CSD's most contentious eras. That fall, 3 new members would be voted into the board whose intentions may have been benevolent, but the unfortunate combination of large personalities, demographic ignorance, incendiary language, and local rumors would blow the monthly CSD meetings into fierce storms of civic emotion, testing my own instincts for balanced reporting while being pulled by both sides of the argument. In retrospect, I saw that situation as a catalyst for Morongo residents' new hardscrabble will to learn how local politics work, and community members have since learned to properly organize against outside opportunists. Like Sarah Fernandez and her successful grassroots campaign to stop the communications tower on Morongo's compromised BLM land that would have encroached on neighboring residents and wildlife. As for changes in the Morongo Valley Fire Department, we'd see the beloved beloved Fire Chief Brakebill retire, succeeded by the current Chief McCakin, and the Morongo Valley Community Services District Board of Directors would become a cooperative team despite the unincorporated town's continuous fiscal challenges. For the MVCSD's neighbors at the Big Morongo Canyon Preserve, it's always a pleasure to meet with the BMCP's Executive Director Kevin Wong to learn of the latest developments in what I consider to be the most unique nature preserve in the whole basin. As for my other assigned beat covering the Morongo Unified School District, I also saw an increase of positive developments. The MTA remained consistent in their negotiations for higher pay for teachers and smaller class sizes, while challenging the necessity for staff layoffs. The Board of Trustees exhibited admirable integrity when they decided to forego their 5% bonus and approve a one-time 5% bonus for MTA and MUSD management in 2024. Other notable student achievements included the 29 Palms Junior High STEAMcats robotics team competing in 2 national robotics events, young multilinguists earning their C of biliteracy and reclassification, and perhaps the best news for MUSD and its students was the passing of Bond Measure C, an $88 million bond with revenue funding improvements to campus infrastructure, complete with a bond oversight committee for transparency of its spending. I also get the chance to pitch my own stories here at the station, and I've been able to amplify voices like the Native American Land Conservancy and our local chapter of Missing and Murdered Indigenous People, as well as spreading the word about our growing mutual aid for desert conservation, like the annual Giant Rock cleanup gatherings, and helping bridge the gaps between military veterans and civilians by covering the tireless efforts of Miltree. As an author, I'm also grateful to cover our growing literary scene, like reading events at Space Cowboy Books, and other live readings at Desert Split Open Mic, and other literary events leading up to the annual 29 Palms Book Festival. As the Morongo Basin continues to grow in popularity, sometimes giving the impression that it may be bursting at the seams, it's my hope we stay focused on preserving the integrity of our small, vibrant community rather than forcing it to expand beyond its natural limits. Let's continue to remind ourselves we are here because there's no place like it. Here's to 500 more stories chronicling the Morongo Basin. Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Gabriel Hart.
That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.